Thanks for joining our quarterly Oracle integration webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress from the product management team. If you've missed one of our previous sessions, you can catch up with this on-demand webcast. Just check our quarterly newsletter and subscribe to our Oracle Video Hub channel. Today, we are excited to welcome Pavlik, Executive Vice President for Oracle Infrastructure, AI. Greg will share how Oracle delivers AI across the full stack, from applications to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Good morning, Greg, and welcome.
Hey, good morning.
Greg, to start with, could you tell us more about the role Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and its AI services play in this strategy?
Yeah, we'll look at this in depth, but we are making a significant investment in generative AI and really opening it up for the enterprise and for business users. You could say that's our special focus and really our point of differentiation. And we build the same technologies we build for our users to build their own solutions on using generative techniques is also what we build our products on. And we'll kind of look at what that looks like and why that's very beneficial.
Excellent, thanks. And from your experience as the Oracle integration architect, how important is connectivity for enabling enterprise AI?
Well, it's crucial. The issue here is twofold. One, the AI at the end of the day is only as good as the data you have the ability to feed into the agentic systems. And so you need connectivity and you need to bring these other applications and data sources together so that you can create better AI solutions, number one. Number two, the other part of connectivity is the applications. And applications are partially there as a data source, but also as a source of action and business process workflows. And if you think about your day-to-day business, a lot of it centers around workflows that are constructed over application endpoints.
Excellent, thank you. Good morning, Nathan. You are our AI integration thought leader.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Jürgen.
So which OCI AI services can be used within Oracle integration as part of the palette?
Yeah, so we've actually embedded all of the OCI AI services, document understanding, vision, Gen AI, the RAG infrastructure, all of those are now native capabilities within the integration palette, meaning we've made it very easy for you to infuse intelligence into all of your integrations.
Excellent, thanks. And with us is Niall. Good morning, Niall.
Good morning or good afternoon to you.
So we get an update today about the latest features. What's your favorite one in the current release?
Oh, well, I suppose it is, of course, the ever-expanding AI support we have both at design time and at runtime within OIC. So that's something very excited about.
Cool, thank you. So SaaS services like ERP, HCM, and CX need to be connected, and Oracle integration offers with certified adapters out-of-the-box connectivity. With the new AI features, this integration can be exposed as an AI agent toolset, providing the large language models with your enterprise data to empower agents to make better decisions and provide human on-site and AI governance. Objective of today's call is to provide you the latest product information and resources to input successful Oracle integration. Quick housekeeping. Today's session is live and this presentation is being recorded. Please feel free to post your questions via the conference Q&A tool in the Zoom console. At the end of the webcast, we will answer them. Slides and the on-demand webcast will be posted at Oracle Video Hub. We will post announcements and links in the conference chat. Please complete the online survey at the end of the webinar. Please pay attention to the Oracle Safe Harbor statement. For today's agenda, after my short introduction, Greg will provide a strategy update on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, AI, and data services. Nathan will demo these services and how agentic AI is built into Oracle integration. Niall will introduce the new features of 2510. To get started with agentic AI, we offer an early adopter program. Based on your use case that you nominate, we will build a joint POC. We support with training and coaching. As we want to promote your Oracle integration success, we ask you to submit a success story. The early adopter program is also available for robotic process automation and B2B, both part of Oracle integration. Oracle integration is part of the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free trial program. Build, test, and deploy Oracle integration to connect your applications. The trial is valid for up to 30 days. Most important, read the documentation, available for all automation technologies like AI, RPA, or to connect applications. The documentation also includes a hands-on training, live labs. And what's new? Make use of the live labs to build your proof of concept. Who are the integration experts to support your customer project? System integrators like Accenture or Knex implement 8 of the top 10 Oracle integration projects. Choose a certified partner with OIC references to replicate your success. At Partner Finder, you can search for certified partners by competencies and region. At Cloud Marketplace, you can search for applications based on Oracle Cloud Platform. For example, Infobip offers a communication suite to send WhatsApp or other messages via OIC. Or Fishbowl, a Web Center adapter to connect the OIC AI knowledge base. Questions, need support, collaborate at Cloud Customer Connect. In discussion forums, you can share your knowledge, engage with industry experts, and network with peers. You can submit innovations and earn personal badges. For regular updates, please subscribe to the Oracle Integration newsletter. The quarterly updates from our team includes the latest product information, events, success stories, white papers, and trainings. Today's webcast is recorded and will be published at Oracle Video Hub. Please subscribe to receive the latest updates. With that short introduction, over to you, Greg.
Great. Why don't we jump into the next slide? There's a little bit of background. I think most businesses are trying to make sense of how this generative AI revolution impacts their business. And the starting point in a lot of people's experience has been on the consumer side of the equation, using ChatGPT, finding information, creating documents, really synthesizing the knowledge that's been harvested in these frontier models. And this is very powerful. It can be used directly in the business context, but it's not enough. When Oracle comes into the equation is really bringing the power and the capabilities of generative technology together with your enterprise systems and enterprise data. And that's when the most relevant capabilities open up for the business. And there you have to deal with data connectivity, application connectivity, right? Bringing together your different enterprise systems, dealing with all the problems that come with data in different formats. Also, bear in mind that the models that you receive out of the box, without either training or augmented layers around behavior, aren't really set up to think and understand the business context. Obviously, you have constraints related to data sovereignty, access control, and then ultimately governance, right? Remember, these things are, the models are built with the knowledge resources of the internet. There's a lot out in the internet that is good and useful for your business. There's a lot there that isn't, that is either inaccurate or inappropriate, or just doesn't represent the real-time knowledge that's present in your own business processes, your workflows, your applications, and databases. So Oracle's focus really is uniquely bring this together into the enterprise context in ways that are usable. We have kind of a very differentiated set of capabilities that's run the gamut from infrastructure, the raw GPUs for building models and doing inferencing, all the way up to the application tier. We'll walk through these, but we are really the only company that has the full stack from beginning of creating the models and running the models all the way up to the business applications that you use to run your business. And we'll talk about why that's important, but one way to think about this is we have the day-to-day experience of making generative AI work for your business. And with the applications, there's kind of a feedback loop and pressure to make the models better and make the services that host the models work and behave in the way you would expect for your business environment. Next slide, please. We have a differentiated capability we call the supercluster. This is really a way to bring network GPUs together at scale and connect them efficiently to your underlying data resources so that you can do both training and inferencing um, quickly and correctly. Most of the companies that are building generative models are running on OCI. They're running on it for a reason. We've got really the best price performance and reliability profile in the industry. But it's important because it's also a substrate not only for training, but for building your solutions, serving your models. We use all that across the entire stack above the layer of infrastructure for all the functions we offer around generative models. Data, right? You cannot make progress on the generative front for your businesses without using your enterprise data. Oracle is really a steward for most enterprises to run their most mission-critical systems and their data management on their behalf. I will call out Oracle database 26AI as something also to note some special characteristics around. This has built-in vectorization capabilities. So if you're dealing with documents, you're dealing with images, things like this, and you want to bring them into applications, we have a transactionally consistent full enterprise capabilities to bring your structured and unstructured data together for new generations of applications. We're extending that into what we call the AI data platform. Let me touch on that real quick. It's a new system for building lake houses that is entirely AI driven and gives you AI insights all the way through analytic and business intelligence type views of your data. So really, we are looking at your data management problem both as the fundamental building block for AI-driven solutions, including applications, but also for opening up new insights into your data easily and quickly using AI. Models. One of the things that we've really leaned in on is bringing the best of the industry to our platform. And so we are using models from OpenAI, from Grok, from Gemini, from Llama, from Cohere, essentially the full spectrum of frontier models. We're the only cloud that brings them all together and makes them available for our applications and for our solutions and for our users to use directly. The frontier models are critical because these are the models that really have the capabilities to not only work with your data effectively, but also to help drive new workflows, new agentic scenarios where reasoning and planning become critical. Without these capabilities, you really can't build a large class of business-specific solutions. So we're really proud of the partnerships we've done. Most of these companies are building on top of OCI as well. So it lets us get closer to them to help become collaborators in the development of their solutions. All these things are made available in very simple to use services that are a part of the OCI platform. These are the same service. They build on those models. They build on this infrastructure. They're the same services we use to build solutions around OIC or within our application suites. I do want to talk about the Agent Hub because the Agent Hub is kind of a new and central part of what we are delivering now. It's in beta. It is a platform that is meant to use these frontier models and help you to build reliable, effective agents for businesses. It's an open platform that uses the Responses API, so we can host agents you build on any open source framework and allow you to wire into any of these frontier models, pick the best models that's most effective for the workload that you're trying to do. But also, we provide governance, security controls, guardrails, right? All the fundamental characteristics that are required to bring this technology into the enterprise context so you can use it reliably and safely. So the Agent Hub is also a part of what we are building, the agents that we deliver to our customers within the package context, within services, within applications. But the whole framework is open, very easy to use, and accessible for any of our customers to use directly to build whatever solutions are appropriate for your business. So we're pretty excited to announce this and make it available today. On top of that, we have our integration layers, right? And this is key. We're going to obviously focus on this as a part of the webcast. But all these capabilities that are being made available today, you could think of as enabling human-in-the-loop, kind of more ad hoc workflows, but you need fixed and reliable execution of business processes, right? You need to be able to tie that in with the generative technologies and the agent scenarios, but you also want to be able to bring agents that are driving more flexible workflows and delegate to the kinds of well-defined, reliable, and transactional workflows that are driven through platform technologies like Oracle integration, right? So these two worlds are very much cohabitating and very much interrelated. Lastly, I wanted to just focus on the applications tier. It's an easy way to get started to use generative AI with Oracle. We plumb all these generative capabilities into our apps and give you prepackaged solutions. Kind of look at the breadth of them in a second, but this includes our Fusion applications, NetSuite, all of our industry applications. They're all driving workflows and workloads on top of this generative stack, and they're pushing improvements continually into the platform to make our generative services and the way we host the models more effective and applicable for the enterprise. What you will find with Oracle is not technology that we're delivering to do cool POCs, but technologies we're delivering to drive core enterprise workflows today, whether that's within the applications or using the generative technologies directly, right? Within the apps, we have over 600 agents that run the gamut from human capital management to supply chains across vertical industries like retail, banking, healthcare. We've got tens of thousands of users already certified to use our agentic technologies. We continue to build out partnerships across the ISV and the SI ecosystems. So I want people to be clear that this is technology that's built for production use today in real-world business systems. We build on it. We run our own businesses, internal to Oracle on it. And we are partnering with our customers deeply to drive this across the industry. The other thing I wanted to bring out before we get deeper into the touch points with the Oracle integration stack is that all these generative capabilities are part of a very rich AI stack, right? We have capabilities that run the gamut from speech, biometrics, document understanding, computer vision. These things are all built to work together to build very rich AI-driven solutions for the enterprise today. We use the best of the enterprise adapted generative technologies and make them available to you. And we also have specialized models that are built to task, all of which are proven, robust, scalable, reliable AI solutions that you can apply directly in your enterprise workflows today. We do it in our applications. We do it with our customers. We do it with our partners. So let's take a look at how this fits together more deeply with the integration stack.
Greg, thank you very much for the wonderful overview of our strategy, and over to Nathan.
Thank you, Jürgen and Greg. So I want to expand on what Greg covered today by looking at how Oracle integration is helping to enable AI initiatives across Oracle, like the OCI Agent Hub. Specifically, we'll cover how we're providing AI agents secure access to enterprise apps and data, while at the same time preserving IT governance. Of course, before we begin, the standard safe harbor note applies. Any forward-looking statements are directional and not intended as a delivery commitment. So when we talk with our customers, we consistently hear three questions. Is an agent the right option for my use case? What agent framework should we use? And how do we safely give agents access to our enterprise apps and data? Throughout this session, we'll address these questions and share some practical tips to getting started. AI agents extend automation to business processes that require more flexibility, where the next step depends on context and the flow is less predictable. AI agents can reason through these more flexible business processes, but they're only as effective as the data they can access, the actions they can take, and the controls that govern them. Any successful modern automation initiatives, with or without agents, still depend on three fundamentals. That is, to connect apps and data to ground decisions, automate processes to take actions within your enterprise, and to innovate with AI, but within an enterprise governance model that ensures outcomes are predictable and repeatable. Building on those fundamentals, Oracle Integration supports your AI agent initiatives in three practical ways. First, we make agents smarter with data by grounding them in governed enterprise context. Second, we make agents effective with action by enabling enterprise actions through our comprehensive portfolio of automation tools. And lastly, we make agents reliable with predictability by combining deterministic orchestration with policy enforcement, approvals, and exception handling to deliver predictable and repeatable outcomes. In short, Oracle Integration provides a consistent way to connect agents to enterprise context, execute actions, and apply controls for predictable outcomes. Let's start with data. Oracle Integration makes agents smarter with data by providing broad connectivity through our extensive library of pre-built adapters. This includes connectivity to Oracle applications, third-party SaaS applications, databases, file and document systems, internet services, messaging and event streams, and many industry protocols. These pre-built adapters ensures you can connect your AI agents to pretty much any application within your enterprise. Once agents are grounded in the right context, the next expectation is to empower them with action. Oracle Integration enables enterprise actions through our portfolio of automation tools. Integration to orchestrate APIs, robots, and AI services. Our new agentic AI capabilities to expose enterprise actions and data as tools that can be used by AI agents. RPA to execute tasks where UI interaction is still required. Human oversight to manage approvals and exception handling. Rule-based decisions to apply predictable and repeatable decision logic. And B2B to automate transactions with trading partners. This portfolio of automation tools gives you choice and flexibility to use the right tool for the job at hand. Before we jump into the product, let's align on what we mean by an AI agent. Agents are typically built from three key components. There's the LLM, like the one used in ChatGPT, but used here to interpret context and reason. Reason over what? Reason over goals and objectives. These are the business objectives, the outcomes the agent is working towards. And finally, tools, the data and actions the agent can use. LLMs may understand general language and knowledge, but they have no native access to your enterprise systems. Tools are the mechanism that provide agents access to your apps and data. And how do these agents access those tools? Well, fortunately, there's an emerging standard called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. MCP defines a standardized way for agents to discover and invoke tools. This means that tools exposed through MCP can be used by nearly any AI agent. Within Oracle, we have several key AI agent initiatives to meet your specific needs. Within Fusion Applications, we have the AI Agent Studio. We have the AI Data Platform to build agents on Lakehouse repositories. Within the database itself, we have the Agent Factory. There's the OCI Gen AI agents and Agent Hub that Greg spoke to. And we can even build agents directly within OIC. In addition, of course, there are many third-party agent frameworks like the LangChain community of projects. All agent platforms provide native tools, such as business objects in the Fusion AI Agent Studio, or SQL tools in the AI data platform. Oracle integration complements these native tools in three ways. First, it extends access to apps and data that are outside the agent's native ecosystem. For example, a Fusion agent may also need to access Salesforce, Workday, or SAP. Second, it provides deterministic orchestration for complex multi-step business operations. For example, creating an order in a predictable and repeatable way may require orchestrating multiple low-level APIs, something we wouldn't want to leave to the discretion of an LLM. And lastly, it enables tools to be built with broader automation capabilities like RPA, human oversight, and rule-based decisions. Most importantly, Oracle integration centralizes governance. It gives you a consistent way to manage access policies, credentials, auditing, and operation controls across multiple agent ecosystems. This reduces fragmentation, so you don't end up re-implementing security and oversight separately for each agent framework as your adoption scales. Okay, so let's take a look at the Oracle integration product and see how this works. So here we're in Oracle integration, and we want to take a look at one of our projects here. So we'll take a look at this invoice processing project. And let's say we have a use case where we have a shared service center, and that shared service center is getting documents, invoice documents in, paper documents, maybe attachments to emails. They want to be able to scan those documents and put them into a folder for processing. And we want to automate the processing of those invoice documents. So fairly common, fairly simple use case, but I think sufficiently scope to be able to talk about some of the concepts and how AI agents can actually provide value here. So before AI agents, we would have approached this problem by saying, well, let's create some integrations, maybe some utility integrations to do various parts of this job. So for instance, we might have created an integration to list the documents or retrieve documents from those folders. We might have created an integration to actually create the invoice itself, or integrations to be able to classify and extract data from those electronic documents. We would do the exact same thing. We would approach this problem exactly the same way today. The difference is that how we actually now orchestrate these utility type services. Let's take a look at one of these integrations here, this classified document, because we talked about this a little bit earlier, how we've actually extended our palette to include all of the OCI native OCI AI services, such as document understanding, generative AI, language, speech, vision, and so on and so forth. All of these now are native to our integration palette, meaning it's very easy to create integrations that leverage this level of intelligence. As an example, here we have an integration for classifying the document, and we've used the document understanding activity, and we simply come in here and say, using that document understanding, the operation we want to perform on this document is we simply want to get a classification. So now that we have these integrations, we can go ahead and leverage them within our solution. Now, again, pre-AI, what we would have done is we probably would have gone ahead and created another integration, or maybe a BPMN process to orchestrate these utility integrations. In the AI world, what we want to do is we want to rely on the agent to be able to orchestrate these activities. And so to do that, we need to expose these as tools. So within Oracle integration, we've released a whole new set of agentic AI capabilities. We'll come back to these agents and the patterns and the prompt templates in a little bit, but let's focus first on this idea of tools. So we've added a first-class capability to be able to model tools here. So we already have some: list documents, extract invoice data, create invoice, and such. We want to create a new tool, and we can do that by simply coming in here and say we want to create a tool based off an integration, and then we can simply select the integration that we'd like to implement this tool. We've automatically copied the description from that integration, and we will now create the tool. So this is the tool that the LLM is going to have access to, and really the tool is just metadata that defines what the tool does. In this case here, classify a document type like an invoice or a receipt. And it provides the parameters that the tool is going to need, with also some description. So we can say this is the document file name. And what this does is it gives the LLM the information it needs to know whether it would like to use this tool, and if so, how it can actually request this tool be executed. So we can save that, and now we have a set of tools that are all mapped to our integration as implementation detail. And now we'd like to expose these to an agent. And we can do that by simply coming into our project and saying, we want this entire project to be enabled as an MCP server. And once we do that, any MCP compliant agent framework can now access these tools through our MCP server. So to give you an example what that might look like, let's come over to Fusion Applications, and I have to actually refresh this. Yep, there we go. And we'll come into the AI Agent Studio. And of course, AI Agent Studio is just the agent ecosystem that the Fusion Applications team is creating. They, of course, have created a quite an extensive library of pre-built agents to help your users in their daily use of, you know, HCM or payables or order management or whatever the case may be. But in this case, let's take a look at this at maybe a little bit lower level, and let's kind of build our own agent here. So I've already configured Fusion Apps to be able to connect to our MCP server, and I've done that through creating a new tool type within Fusion Applications called an MCP tool type. I've given it a name. I've given it the URL, and of course credentials that allow this now to go out and connect to the OIC invoice processing MCP server. And as you can see, it's gone out there and it's discovered those 4 tools that we've enabled. And so now that Fusion Applications knows about those tools, we can go ahead and build an agent. And the way we would do this is we would come into what they call an agent team. I've already created one of those specifically for this payables use case, and we can create an agent. So we'll come over here, we'll say we want to create a new worker agent. We'll call this invoice processing agent. We'll give it a description. Yep. And we will give it some instructions. These would be the objectives that we want the agent to achieve. So we have our objectives that we want the agent to achieve. We can specify the LLM. And of course, the last thing that we need to do is we need to give this agent tools. And of course, we can come over here and we can search for the connection to our MCP server that we just created or looked at. And we can now add that as a tool provider for this particular agent. And then once we have this, we now have everything needed to go ahead and test this agent. And so we can come over here, we can run a test, and we can say, please process the documents in my invoices folder. Yeah. And we can now go ahead and kick that off. And so what's going to happen now is this agent, using its own native behaviors, is going to go out, look at the objectives, look at the MCP tools that have been provided to it through the OIC MCP server, and it's going to start working through invoking those tools to solve the actual objective. And so we can see it calling tools. If we actually come back to Oracle integration, we would see that, you know, we go into observe, we would see that all of those tool invokes are simply resulting in an integration being invoked. So our agent has gone out there, discovered tools. It's decided that it wants to use one of those tools. It makes a request to our MCP server for access to that tool. And our MCP server will now say, that tool is bound to a particular integration. It executes that integration and then ultimately returns a result back to the agent. And what's nice about this, again, is that we can do this really with any MCP compliant agent. As an example, here we have an agent ecosystem called LangFlow. It's a low-code agent framework from the LangChain community. And we can do effectively something very similar here within LangFlow and simply say, let's go ahead and connect to that MCP server over there in OIC. We can see it's also gone out, discovered those documents, and we can now hook that MCP server up to our agent here. And we have the same set of objectives. Go ahead and process some invoices. We've connected it, of course, up to a model. And now we can test this particular agent. Well, we already tested it, but we can test this particular agent. Say, please process documents in the invoices folder. Yep. And we'll see that this agent will go off and do the same thing. Both of these agents are using the exact same MCP server. And hopefully this kind of highlights one of the huge value that we're providing is that it does not matter which agent ecosystems you're using. You have this notion of centralized governance on how any of those agent ecosystems are getting access to your enterprise apps and data. And so again, we'll see this agent here going off and working through and creating those invoices. And by the way, we would see the end result here within Fusion Apps, it doing exactly the same thing. Yeah. Okay, very good. So again, just to kind of recap, we are making it very simple for you to go ahead and leverage your existing integrations to be able to create new integrations using natural language or pull in integrations from our library of our marketplace of predefined integrations. And of course, ultimately, we're a native low-code development tool to create new integrations. So making it very easy for you to create the underlying integrations and automations that you need to be able to give your agents access to your enterprise apps and data. And then making it very simple for you to provide to kind of overlay on top of those integrations this abstraction, this concept of tools that you can then hand directly to any of the agent frameworks out there, and of course making those available by simply enabling this entire project to become an MCP server. But we also are actually providing our own agent framework. And let me walk you through that in a little bit here. So here we have another project that we've actually used for our AI world. You notice we don't have any integrations here, but we do have some tools defined. These tools are all defined to use the integrations that were back in that invoice processing project. And so maybe this kind of highlights another value of projects in the sense that it allows you to kind of control who has access to which component. So in this case here, maybe we have a project invoice processing where the IT team is building those integrations. They want to maintain control over the source of those integrations, but they also want to make them available to others to go ahead and leverage. And so in this case here, they've shared those integrations, and maybe me as an AI agent, someone from the Center of Excellence team, I can now come in and create my own project, and I can actually build tools off of those integrations that are being managed somewhere else, but that have just simply been shared to me. But we can also create some other tools. So for instance, creating tools simply by integrations is not the only thing that we provide. We also provide the ability to create tools based off of recipes. And so in this case here, I'm going to add another tool specifically for this idea of human in the loop. And I think I clicked on that. Yep, I did. And so this is going to go out, and it's now pulled from our marketplace a number of different components, and it's now dropped us into the actual tool itself. And so let me go ahead and hard code my username in here so we can make sure that I get the task that's going to be assigned. Obviously, if this wasn't a demo, we would actually do this dynamically. And so we can now save this, and we now have a new tool for our agents. But what did we do when we actually installed that recipe? Well, we did a few things. One is that we installed a workflow. So again, we've repurposed our process automation directly to be directly accessible within projects and primarily for supporting human oversight for our agents. We've created a form. It's a very simple form where the agent's going to send us a request and we can send back a natural language response. And we've created an integration that wraps all of those and now, of course, can be used as the foundation for that human in the loop tool. So now we have a new tool. We want to go ahead and build an agent. If we go back to something like Langflow and we take a look at what's behind the scenes here in this agent, we see that this agent really is comprised of a bunch of code. And what is this code doing? This code is really defining the fundamental behavior of how the agent operates. When do we call the LLM? How do we pass prompts to the LLM? How do we actually respond to tool requests and so on and so forth? How do we actually embed our own specific guardrails for our company? all in this Langflow agent framework. All of that is done through code. We've done something similar with an integration, but we've actually done this through what we call an agent pattern. And so I can come over here and create a new agent pattern. I'll call it financial compliance agent pattern. And we can pull this from a recipe. So we are going to actually deliver with the product a number of different predefined recipe patterns for different types of agent behaviors. I can now go ahead and put in here some guidelines for this agent to kind of reason over. And I can save this. And so again, what we're doing here is defining the underlying structure of how this agent will behave. And so we now have our agent pattern, and you'll see that what we've done is when we installed that recipe, we installed yet another integration here. And this is the integration that now governs the actual behavior of that agent. How do we invoke with the LLM? How do we actually manage the prompts? How do we manage the agent's memory? And this is a good place also then for you to extend this integration to put your own hard-coded guardrails that are important to your business. And of course, we will continue to deliver additional patterns. Because it's an integration, you of course can just simply alter this integration, or you could build your own pattern that's best for your needs. So now that we have the pattern, let's go ahead and create the actual agent itself. So we'll call this the invoice processing agent. And we'll leverage this financial compliance pattern that we just created, and we will now create our agent. And now if you look at the agent, it's what we're really doing here is we're now just simply assembling from all of the components that we've already defined. We're now just simply assembling the actual agent itself. And so if you think about what we've done here is that we've kind of segregated how you can actually manage constructing your agents. You could have a completely separate team who's managing the tools. In other words, how are agents going to access our enterprise apps and data? You can have maybe a compliance team who's managing just the agent behavior. And then you can have a more business focused team or domain expert, your domain experts where they're actually focused more on the functional aspects of the agents. And all of these can be managed independently. So we use the same exact guidelines, but because we're using this human in the loop tool, what we want to do is we want to extend this to say, we're going to also give this agent additional instructions to say, look, if the invoice is over $15,000, you should seek approval for before you actually pay that invoice. So we'll save this and we'll activate it. And now we can go ahead and run this agent. So note that this agent is running on the exact same set of tools, the exact same integrations that we've ran both the AI Studio agents as well as the LangChain agents. The only difference here is that we're simply building this agent directly within OSC. And if we test this, we can come here and we can say, please process the documents. In the invoices folder. And we can run this. And what we'll see is this agent will now go out and start running. And it will, instead of using code like in Langflow or however they've implemented agents within AI Studio, it's now going to invoke that React pattern integration to govern the behavior of the agent. And that agent is going to go do exactly what the others have done, and that is to invoke these tools and reason over the objectives that we've given it. So we can see it's actually running through this. We see it's actually decided it wants to classify the documents. It's now extracting data from those documents. And ultimately what we'll see here is it will come back and discover that one of those documents it is for a value greater than $15,000. And here we see it right here. It's now saying, oh, before I actually proceed, I need to actually get human approval. If we come back out to our observability, and this is where we've kind of, again, unified the observability across all these automation components. We come back to our observability here, and we can see that indeed we've been assigned a task from that agent. We can come into that task, and we can see the agent is now asking us to approve this particular invoice. And I can just come in here and I can say it's approved. I can submit that. And now if we come back into our agent observability, what we'll see is that our agent will now resume. And we can see that the agent has actually picked up the fact that we approved that. And it is now calling the create invoice to actually go out and create the invoice that we approved. And ultimately, it'll finish creating the invoice and come back with a nice summary of what it did, just like the other two agent frameworks. And there we have it. So anyway, just to kind of recap, wanted to just give you a quick look at what it is that we're doing within the OIC infrastructure to make it very easy for you to leverage the investments that you have in Oracle integration and to provide those agents that governed access to your enterprise applications, again, wherever those agents may reside. So if we go back to those three questions and we look at kind of a practical checklist of things that we're recommending first, is an agent my best option? So agents are going to be most valuable when your work is variable, where the context matters, where you can't fully define the predefined steps for those agents. If you have a business process where you're saying, I need to execute step 1 and then step 2 and then step 3, and it always needs to be done exactly that way, we would not recommend that you use an agent. You're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of money trying to get it to repeatably do that step 1, step 2, step 3. It would just be easier for you to go ahead and orchestrate that in what's now being called deterministic flows, where you just orchestrate that in an integration or process flow or what have you. So agents are best going to be used where the solution is more variable, where there's more flexibility in how the flow might resolve itself. Second, what framework should we use? Again, this really is going to depend on the center of gravity of work, right? Again, if you're working within Fusion applications, your best bet would be to go ahead and create agents within there. If you are creating agents that are based on data, heavily based on data within a lakehouse, or you have data residency concerns, then building your agents on maybe on the AI data platform might be useful. And third, and maybe most important of all, is how do I access my apps and data? How do I give my agents access to the apps and data? And again, hopefully you've seen this is where we think that Oracle integration could provide significant value, giving your agents access to tools that extend beyond the native set of tools, to give them access to apps and data that are external to those app ecosystems, giving you the ability to have more deterministic orchestrations that might be useful for your agents, and then finally giving them access to other automation capabilities besides APIs like RPA, human in the loop, and rule-based decisions. And then again, most importantly, being able to centralize how those agents are actually how you're actually governing access to the apps and data from any of those agent ecosystems. And so with that, Jürgen, I think I'd like to turn it back over to you and see if there's any questions or maybe to Niall to give an update on other things that's going on within OIC.
Thanks for the wonderful demo and the nice presentation. So Niall, which one was your favorite feature from Nathan's presentation?
All of it, Jürgen.
So you're not going to demo today as Nathan did it all for you?
No. I just, it was great for me today. I could just sit back, listen, answer a few questions on the Q&A. But I must say, folks, it really is a game changer for us. And as you can see there from what Greg covered, the overall AI story from Oracle and how we strategically within OIC complement that, through exposing access to enterprise systems of record as tools, as well as providing our own agentic AI framework. This is really, as the Americans would say, awesome.
Wonderful summary. If you want to learn more, make sure you join the Accelerator program. As part of the Accelerator program, you become an early adopter for RPA, AI, agentic framework, or for B2B. You find more information at bit.ly/accelerate integration. You can also make use of our integration resources like the website, and the free trial. And as part of the documentation, we have some hands-on live labs available. And please subscribe to the newsletter to receive the latest updates and check out our blogs. There are plenty of blogs from the integration team. Neil is writing a blog and the whole team is contributing. So thank you for that. With that, I would like to come to the questions. So the first question was, what about pricing for Oracle Agentic AI, Nathan?
We are not charging anything extra for you to create tools or for you to expose those tools as an MCP server. All of that capability we are delivering to you free of charge. Obviously, when those tools are invoked and those tools ultimately invoke integrations, you will be charged for the integrations as is normal. But we are not making any additional charges for the tools or the MCP server. When it comes to our agents, the pricing is still TBD, but you would expect it to be some sort of consumption-based pricing where we charge X number of messages per agent invocation, but we have not yet settled on what that pricing might be at this time.
Okay, Katri Baban would like to know, how do we ensure that the agent may not vary about much over time?
This is the key question for all of these agents, right? And that is, how do we both turn over decision making to these synthetic brains, and at the same time ensure that they're doing the work properly, consistently, and to our specification. And so there's an entire thread, and you'll hear more from us as we roll into next year, early next year. We're actually in the process of building out a very comprehensive agent compliance framework that will allow you to, in real time, have all of your agents assessed for compliance rules and policies that you define. So we will assess all of those agent instances against the policies that you define. Think of it as a manager for the agent who's overseeing their work. We'll assess those policies and assess the compliance of each of those agents, and then give you reports or alerts if need be when an agent has gone astray. So how do we keep them in line? That's kind of the art of the science here with agents. Would say be very careful as you move. There's these frontier models. They're coming out quick and furious. Every other month, if not sooner, there are new models coming out. Be very careful moving from one model to the other. You may think that, well, it's just going to be the next best model. It's going to be even smarter. So how could anything go wrong? We would say that anytime you change from one model to the other, you think of this as no different as making any kind of other code change. You need to go back in there and test and validate that the agent is still working as you expect.
Okay. Avinash has a similar question. How can you prevent and detect hallucination?
Yeah, again, this goes back to the whole notion. So yeah, so what's most important to prevent hallucination is to provide the proper context. And when I say prevent, I really shouldn't say prevent. To reduce the risk of hallucination, the most important thing is to provide proper context for the LLM. The LLMs are getting much better. And what we're finding is if you provide them sufficient context, they will generally do a fairly good job. But at the end of the day, this is no different than having employees that are running our business today. We don't simply get employees and say, go run a business, and at the same time say, well, there's no oversight, there's no management, there's no reporting on what those employees are doing, right? We would do exactly the same thing with these agents, and that is we need to, yes, let's get the agents up and running, let's train them on how to do the jobs appropriately, but then let's also make sure that we have sufficient oversight as they do their jobs day by day. Yeah, it is a big topic, so it's hard to kind of give you a like here's the exact answer. This is an entire kind of we could spend an entire hour just talking about this alone.
So
But if you'd like to
can
talk more
the
about that
developer
right away, we'd recommend that you join our Accelerate program. We'd be happy to talk to you a little bit more about that as well.
Can the developer choose the large language model, and can the platform make a choice of the large language model?
Yep, right. So, look, we don't know your business. We don't know what it is you're expecting out of your agents. We have no ability whatsoever to make a determination as to which large language model, or quite frankly, we're now turning more towards this notion of small language models. We have no idea which models would be best appropriate for your business, which models you trust, which models you're going to say, hey, we do or don't have data residency concerns, what the pricing of those models are, and all of that. So what we've done is we've made this very flexible and say, look, you decide which models are most appropriate for you. We'll provide the connectivity to those models. And when we deliver those agent patterns, we'll make it very easy for you to plug your models into those agent behavioral patterns. So you can get a particular behavior out of your agents, and then you can simply swap from one model to the other simply by changing the connection to the LLM. But at the end of the day, you guys are going to be the ones that are best suited to determine which models to use. And so we're just going to make it very easy for you to do that.
We mentioned a couple of times the Accelerate program, and Ravi Chaplani is with us. Ravi, you want to chip in what is part of the Accelerate program?
Sure thing. So hi, folks. So the Accelerate program we have is, of course, primarily on agentic AI, but we also have, because that's one of our latest capabilities, but we also have existing capabilities that we'd like to offer customers support with, and that those are B2B and RPA. So if you have any requirements where you feel you could use B2B, you're not using it for some reason, you'd like some extra help, reach out to us, sign up for the Accelerate program. So we have one for AI, we have one for B2B, one for RPA. Sign up for those, and then the specialist team is going to reach out to you. So someone from the product team will reach out to you and then work on next steps.
Wonderful, thank you. Nathan, do we have any open questions that you would like to highlight and call out?
AI agents may be confused at some point. Would they understand or have to be told? Yeah, this kind of goes back to the whole thing. Like you're going to have to provide supervision for your agents. Again, we'll talk a lot more about this, but I suspect that the very next time we meet for one of these webinars, we'll have much more to say about this. We're already well underway. Unfortunately, I haven't really prepared to talk about it in detail here, but we have much more to say about this area, and that is going to be through this notion of a really comprehensive agent compliance framework that we're building. AI agents as non-human actors that need unique governance. How do we? Yeah, look, hey, you guys are asking exactly the right questions, right? We've got like 5 different ways that we've asked the same question, but you're asking the right questions because at the end of the day, we will handle the technology for you. We'll give you the tools to build these agents. Don't fall into the trap of the hey, agents are simple. We just go ahead and click a few buttons and we've got an agent and it's working. This is like any other software development project. You're going to want to spend some time understanding what are some of the nuances in working with these agents. Where do I need to spend time? Which models am I going to be using? Which behavioral patterns am I going to be using? What's the granularity of tools that I want to provide to these agents? How am I actually providing guidelines to these agents to work? There's an entire set of things that you really need to think deeply about and to ensure that your agents are going to be performing as expected. So you guys are thinking about the exact right things. Join up with our Accelerate program. We'd be happy to go through and talk specifically about your business and kind of give you some guidance along those lines. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Thanks to the whole speaker team. And if you have more questions, make use of the resources. Post your questions at Cloud Customer Connect, and please participate in the Accelerator program. You can also reach out to our product management team, Niall Commiskey in EMEA, Paulo Muta in South America, Ravi Chaplani in North America, Ravi Pinto in India, Steve Tyndall in Asia, and myself for any kind of partner and marketing related questions. We would like to say thank you for an excellent and wonderful calendar year. It was amazing to have you on board and to attend all of those webcasts, and we wish you a Merry Christmas. Once you leave, please complete the online survey, and we are looking forward to welcome you at our next webcast, March 19th. Thanks a lot, and thanks to the whole team.
Thanks very much. And again, Jürgen, thanks very much for all your work in this area. This has been really a great success. Not just for our team, but I'm sure for all of the customers, the hundreds of customers that do attend. So kudos, Jürgen. take a well-deserved break over Christmas, and looking forward to working with you again in the new year.
Thanks, guys.